Listen, everybody, to the words I have to say. Better get ready, because the Lord is coming.
This is Daniel White III with the Second Coming Watch update. This is update number 360. Let's take a quick look at today's prophecy-related headlines, which point towards the second coming of the Lord Jesus Christ and the end of the world as we know it. First up today, according to the Times of Israel, Iranian President-elect Hasan Rouhani on Wednesday laughed off recent statements by Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, in which he pledged to do whatever was necessary to thwart Iran's nuclear program. On Sunday, Netanyahu told CBS's Face the Nation that if Iran's leaders think that Israel will let them do it, they're sorely mistaken. On Wednesday, Rouhani addressed a group of veterans of the Iran-Iraq War. He told the group, "When some say that all options are on the table, and when a miserable regional country, Israel, says such things, it makes you laugh." He was earlier quoted as saying that Iran's close ties with Syria and Hezbollah would remain unchanged. Second today, according to the Times of Israel, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke out against a new European Union directive that bars its 28 member states from cooperating with Israeli entities in the West Bank, the Golan Heights, and East Jerusalem. Netanyahu said Israel wouldn't accept dictates about its borders from any outside forces. He said, "As Prime Minister, I won't allow hundreds of thousands of Israelis living in the West Bank, Golan Heights, and in Jerusalem, our united capital, to be harmed. I expect those who really want peace and regional stability to deal with this matter of West Bank settlements after they solve more pressing problems in the region, like the Syrian civil war and Iran's race to get a nuclear weapon." Israel's economic and trade minister called the EU's decision a financial terror attack, but downplayed its importance. He said, "For 65 years we have experienced embargoes and sanctions, and yet trade with Europe, China, and the US has never been better." Third today, according to the Jerusalem Post, Egypt's new military-backed leadership can count on Israel for support. Believed that the Muslim Brotherhood regime is gone, Israel is willing to be flexible when it comes to the limits imposed by the 1979 peace treaty. The approval of an Egyptian request to deal with the terrorist threat in Sinai by moving more forces into the peninsula shows that Israel is not hesitating to embrace the newly minted power players in Cairo. Chuck Frelich, a senior fellow at the Balfour Center of Harvard's Kennedy School of Government and a former deputy national security advisor in Israel, told the Jerusalem Post that the Brotherhood was a viciously anti-Israel and anti-Semitic group, and that Israel should aid the new military leadership in any way it can. Fourth today, according to Agence France-Presse. United Nations officials said that 5,000 people a month are dying in Syria's civil war, which has now generated the worst refugee crisis since the 1994 Rwandan genocide. A host of top officials called on the divided UN Security Council to take stronger action to deal with the fallout from the 2-year-old conflict, in which up to 100,000 people are believed to have died. Nearly 1.8 million people are now registered with the United Nations as countries around Syria, and an average of 6,000 people a day are now fleeing. Fifth, today, according to the Al Jazeera, upon the Temple Mount on the first Friday of Ramadan, a demonstration was held in favor of restoring the recently deposed Egyptian President Muhammad Morsi to power. The Middle East Media Research Institute, MEMRI, published video of the rally at which vicious anti-Western slogans were chanted. An anonymous pro-Israel blogger noted that while the demonstrations were covered in the Arab media, none of the Arabic media mentioned anything negative about the content of the speeches themselves, and how thousands of people were chanting anti-Western slogans. A Palestinian cleric led the crowd in chants calling for America, France, and Great Britain to be destroyed, and promised the return of an Islamic kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, Jesus Christ said in Revelation chapter 3 verses 11 and 12, Behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Him that overcometh will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out, and I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God, and I will write upon him my new name. Beloved, you can read these stories in more detail and get more prophecy-related news at secondcomingherald.com.